Hello, and let's get started in Chapter 4. The first part of Chapter 4 is pretty quick and easy. It's about plotting points in a coordinate plane. Remember when we say that word coordinate plane, we're talking about the x-axis and the y-axis. I want to point out a couple of pieces to you that you need to make sure you know what I'm talking about when I say. The first is the obvious, and I have already said it, is that the x-axis is horizontal and the y-axis is vertical. The second thing that you need to know is that your 4 different regions of the coordinate plane are actually numbered. They're called the quadrants. And the first quadrant, we always use a Roman numeral to name it, is the spot where the x values and the y values are both positive. In the second quadrant, again, we use Roman numerals. And we move counterclockwise so that this second one happens when the x values are negative, but the y values are positive. In quadrant 3, must use Roman numerals. If you don't, I will take points away. This third quadrant is where both x values and y values are negative. And in quadrant 4, the x values are positive while the y values are negative. And I'm just now noticing that on my list here that my ordered pairs, I don't have a note right there, but let's make sure we put it in there, that ordered pairs or coordinates are always given x, comma, y. Just a reminder, I'm fairly confident that you know that, but sometimes we forget those little things. The second piece here is to remember, so we've talked about the 4 quadrants, we've talked about the x-axis and the y-axis. Let's make that look more like a y. Is the origin. That's that special point that has an x value of 0 and a y value of 0. As long as you know all of those points, then you should be pretty good. So, if we look here at this point P, we could be asked, what are its coordinates? And in this case, that point has the coordinates 3, -2. And we could be asked to describe its location, and it's in the 4th quadrant. So quadrant 4. But when we normally name these, just using that Roman numeral will tell me that you're in the quadrant. So 4 is enough. You don't need to put in quadrant. Now let's talk about that point Q. Point Q has the coordinates, or it has the ordered pair, -4, 0. But when you look at that point, it's neither in the 2nd quadrant nor is it in the 3rd quadrant. It's on the x-axis. That would be its description, that it's on the x-axis. So you have some practice problems down here. Give the coordinates of point A, give the coordinates of point B, and then plotting points and describing the location. Please take a moment, pause the video, and solve those. Here are the first 2. I want to make sure that you have your numbers in the proper order. Remember, we always give our coordinates x, y. Second, I want to make sure that you actually put parentheses around the outside of your point. Proper notation is very important. If you haven't already done so, pause the video again and do points C, D, and E. So hopefully that you've labeled C, D, and E and you've properly named their quadrant or axis, be very cautious with these problems. They're easy points, but they're also easy to make mistakes on. Good luck to you!